This edition of FTB Spotlight is brought to you by Jordan Mott and Greg Pilewicz for Penn State Board of Trustees. Leadership, vision, results, transparency.
I don't think there was one player across all of college football that meant more to their team than Tyler Warren did to Penn State. He truly did it all. Receiving, blocking, throwing, running, and even snapping the ball between his legs. Warren accounted for 23% of all offensive touchdowns for Penn State with 15. And he also accounted for 34% of Penn State's receiving yards with 1,233. Anytime we needed a play or Drew Aller needed to look to some type of safety blanket, the answer was Tyler Warren. You can see that. I mean, Tyler Warren had 104 receptions, which was more than the entire wide receiver corps at Penn State. So it is clear there is a gap left by his absence going to the NFL. Now, we have four major candidates that we are going to look at today to see who can replace the gap that Tyler Warren is leaving at tight end. Now, I do think it will be tight end by committee to a certain extent because there are some guys that are really good in the route running department, some guys that excel at blocking. So today, we're going to take a look at one strength and one weakness of each of the four candidates to replace Tyler Warren. All right, first up, we are looking at Khalil Dinkins, who is headed into his fifth year. He's been here for a while. He's a veteran, and this dude loves to block, and that is absolutely his main strength is getting dirty in the run game. So check out Khalil right here. We are running counter, so we are pulling the backside guard, backside tackle. And if you watch here, Khalil has a gap responsibility. So he is going to block this gap right here. He doesn't necessarily know if this DN's going to press into him or if he is going to kind of keep contained and stay outside. So he takes that first step and he goes, okay, this guy's pressing down. He's mine. So he goes two hands in and it's just good technique. You see both his elbows. He's inside of that defensive end. And then, does a good job of the recovery here. Okay, he throws him back out. So now I'm going to recover and now I'm just going to drive my feet. I get a little help from Nolan Rucci. Great job. Just pulling, seeing color, and smacking it. But then this is the finish that I love. There's no better feeling than going over top of someone and you're going head over feet to pancake this dude and then kind of just walking off like, yep, I did that. And that is the Khalil Dinkins taking the soul out of the opposing defensive lineman. He loves to do it. He has pride in it. And you could tell Ty Howell instills that in his tight ends that, hey, we are going to block. Now, once again, right here in the college football semifinals match right here, we are running mid-zone right. So this play is supposed to hit basically over here on the right side of Sal Wormley. And so we got Khalil Dinkins coming on this combo block with Tyler Warren. This is what we call a D block on the backside between the two tight ends. So he kind of goes, all right, number 8 gets into it. So Khalil Dinkins feels that. And then Nick Singleton, and this is a big piece of having these tight ends, especially on the backside. Watch Khalil Dinkins just collapse this down, and then boom, there's the cutback lane for Nick Singleton. Obviously, works his butt off to get in there. But if it wasn't for Khalil Dinkins just driving his legs and just washing this all down, that cutback lane isn't there. Not only just washing it down, but absolutely pancaking a Don Schuler, just taking him to the dirt. And like I said, this guy, he takes pride in his blocking. Now, let's take a look over here. Khalil Dinkins once again in pass pro too. And I think this is one of his best traits is that you can leave him one-on-one. Nice catch, Ty. Appreciate that. You can leave him one-on-one. Look at Khalil right here. You can leave him one-on-one and he's going to block his guy up. And you see he keeps a great base the entire time. Nick Singleton even goes to like, hey, I'm going to help you. And he's like, oh, no, I don't really need to. He just stays in power, has a good, even at the end, Drew Aller's already released it. But watch this, spin move back in. And Khalil's like, boom, he's already ready. He anticipates it. So he's got that understanding almost of an offensive tackle of how these defensive linemen play in the pass rush game. So not only is he an elite run blocker, I really think he's an asset to keep him in pass pro as a sixth blocker. So I'm excited what he's going to continue to do and continue to get bigger and even better. Now, let's talk about his one, you can call it a weakness, but up to this point, this type of play right here, a block and release where he's just, and they're good plays. We use it a decent amount in this offense, but that's kind of been all his route tree really is. You don't really see Khalil Dinkins out there running, complex routes and getting a lot of catches. If you look back, I mean, he's got like 2 or 3 touchdowns in his career. All of them are block and release routes. And, and that's okay. Once again, right here, watch him again. And he does a good job at him. He's got good football IQ of waiting. I mean, check this out. Waits, sells it, throws his man down to the ground, and then gets out. So it's not that he doesn't execute these well. He does. And I think it'll still be a big part of our offense, the little block and release from especially Khalil. But if you were to say, hey, where can Khalil Dinkins take that next step? I think he can take his route tree to the next level, be a little bit more precise, be able to open up the passing game if we want to leave Khalil out there. And it's not one of those things where, hey, if we want to pass the ball, let's take Khalil out, let's put Luke Reynolds in. No, hey, Khalil can run that route as well. So I think that is where we can get to the next step with Khalil Dinkins in the passing game. All right, the next guy we're going to talk about is Andrew Rappleyea. Now, Andrew Rappleyea, unfortunately, only got to play in 1 game in 2024, suffered a season-ending knee injury, but coming back strong, looks big. I was just out with him last weekend, and this guy is a lot bigger than the last time we saw him. So check him out right here. Just blocking in space, that is absolutely one of his biggest strengths, and really just blocking in general. And you see it. I mean, he loves to punish guys. He wants to block not through the whistle. He wants to block through the echo of the whistle because he's down right there, and Rappleyea is still going 1, 2 for another shove. Like, he's going to draw some personal foul penalties on the opposing team because he's going to get guys frustrated. And not only does he have the will and the want to block, but he's very good at it. So check out this. We are running a little pin and pull action here. So Rappleyea is blocking down on 10, and the idea is, hey, 10 cannot get over you. You have to seal him down. That is the idea. He's pinning 10 down, and then we're going to have these two pull around. Well, the first thing and it's hard for young guys to understand, is as soon as 10 feels this down block, he's going to instantly try to fight over top. You see that? He starts to fight back to get over top to the left. Watch Rappleyea. Gets beat, so now this is, that's not in a good situation. If you're trying to be that pin man and his helmet is outside yours, that's not a good situation. Watch Rappleyea work. Okay, boom, I'm going to fight. And you see where we're at now? Now his head is back where it needs to be. He's in front of 10, and now we're just going to work him. Now I'm just going to run him, and, he's ending up on the ground. So it is, he's impressive. His understanding, kind of just his IQ in the run game of understanding how people are going to play, that's going to get better. But his fight to try to just take dudes' wills, it's fun to watch. It gets me excited. He's got the offensive lineman mentality, that is for sure. And he's going to do whatever he needs to do to get the rep done. So check out Rapp right here blocking down on a defensive end. And not necessarily a great play, but same idea. It's pin pull again. So he's blocking down. This guy fights to get over top 98, and Rapp says, I can't really stop it anymore. And then he turns and uses the box out method. Check that out. I mean, that's something that Tyler Warren uses, and you don't normally see, especially a tight end, use that until they're older. I mean, you got to get a feel for that. So he's doing anything he can, blocking. All right, he gets me kind of turned around. I'm going to box him out and try to create a gap for my guy. Now, obviously, the blocking on the outside, we just get outnumbered. It's just 3 defenders on Nick Singleton has to unfortunately make someone mix, and it's a little mixed up, but nonetheless, Rapp just getting after it in the run game. It's fun to watch. Now, As far as Andrew Rappleyea, we really, he doesn't have a reception. So that is obviously, you could say, a negative or something he needs to, work on. So there's really no footage to show there. So that is obviously one piece of it. The other piece is, haven't seen him be the greatest pass blocker. So if you kind of just watch this technique right here, just kind of turn and, if you watch offensive line play, we've talked about it. You see how he moves this right foot and just kind of really goes nowhere with it. And when he does that, watch what happens to his left foot. Fully just drops, and he just opens up that gate for this defensive end to have a clean path around. And then on top of that, he just goes and just lunges. So kind of the opposite of Khalil Dinkins. I said Khalil Dinkins has a great understanding and almost plays like an offensive tackle in pass pro. Rappleyea clearly is not comfortable in that realm, and he needs to be, get with Drew Shelton a little bit, get with Anthony Duncan, get a little bit of a better understanding of being in that pass pro and what that requires, because he's got what we call happy feet, where he's just kind of bouncing up and down, and that normally leads to you really opening up and leaving yourself susceptible for that around. So luckily, Bo gets it out quick, and it actually was a penalty on this play. There was actually two. But we're going back to 2023 for this film, because obviously we really didn't get a good look at Rappleyea. But that is somewhere, of course, in the receiving game. Let's get him involved. But I think in this pass pro game and making sure he can take on an opposing defensive end is somewhere that he can take that next step to becoming one of the better tight ends here at Penn State. All right, now we're going to take a look at Penn State freshman tight end Andrew Olesh. And his strength, this guy's special with the ball in his hands. Now, some of the time people look at this guy as more of even a wide receiver than he is a tight end. And that's okay. That's kind of the modern tight end at this point. But you watch him over here. He's on the line of scrimmage. This is Tyler Warren-esque. Tyler Warren took a lot of these shovel passes. And so maybe this is something, obviously a young guy, that we could maybe implement. And, if we're looking for someone to fill that void for some of the things that Tyler Warren did last year, well, here's that. Now, obviously, he's not going to be going against kids that will be accountants in 4 years. When you look on this tape, and as you can see, we were looking at some huddle tape here, watching his senior year highlights. But, I mean, nonetheless, that is impressive for a tight end. He is just down, outrunning everybody, make a man miss. And I think that's where Andrew Olesh just kind of excites, especially the coaches looking at him, is, hey, this guy can as a tight end, can take the ball 70 yards to the house. Once again, get the ball in his hands out. Boom, make someone miss, make another man miss, and I'm excited about him, and then point at him. There you go. Coach Franklin's not going to like that. He's going to get that out of him very quickly, I can promise you. But, he's just a fairly sharp route runner, but, like, when he gets this ball, it's okay, how can I make someone miss? And he's calculated at it. He understands. He's got good body control. Those are all the things that help you kind of take you to that next level when you get the ball in your hands to be something special. This is where we see him split out wide, which something we did not really do much with Tyler Warren, where he was just the lone man out there. But I thought just including this in, obviously his main strength is getting the ball in his hands. But I will say his route running, because I want to kind of give you guys a glimpse. No one's really seen him up to this point. Watch how he stacks this DB. So he comes off the ball, gets around him, and he really sells it. Like right now, you think he is running. He also threatens this safety to push this safety back, because it looks like, hey, I'm selling a streak route. Boom. And then cut out, and it's right on. His quarterback's actually pretty good. But he stacks the cornerback, makes him in trail mode, and then boom, cuts out. He looks like a veteran route runner. So overall, this guy, I'm excited about this kid. I think he has really a lot of strengths in the passing game, and can really help us out even from as a young cat. Now, talking about his one weakness, now obviously we are looking at huddle highlight tapes, but as I mentioned earlier, you are not going to be able to be whatever he is, a buck, a buck 90, and just take this guy, this little tiny defensive end that's going to be managing your wealth account here in a couple years, and just drive him off the ball. That's not going to be the case. You're going against guys that look a little bit more like the 9 Dennis Sutton than that. So he's going to have to take that next step as a tight end, as a blocker, because Tyler Warren has said this many times. Hey, If you don't block in the tight end room at Penn State, you don't get the rock. So if he wants to receive and still actually really play that tight end position, he's going to have to put some more weight on and be more of a prominent blocker. But still, I like the fact that he has the want to take guys down and punish them, but he's going to have to put on the weight. He's going to have to get in the weight room to do that. Last but certainly not least, Luke Reynolds. I think this is the guy that everybody is most excited about. And as you can see why, the play on the screen right now, he can go up in high point balls. I think really his biggest strength is his ability to catch in traffic. He can be that quarterback-friendly tight end that goes up and makes the play. And the quarterback says, hey, I got Luke one-on-one. I'm taking a shot. And you can see that right here. I mean, Bo leaves it back and high, and he goes up. I mean, that's dangerous over the middle. That can be a lot of times a pick for a safety. But Luke goes up, gets it, acrobat style, lands on his head, and is completely okay. I mean, I think these are – we actually just saw Luke Reynolds make a catch like this in practice recently. I mean, he is that type of guy that you can count on to make these type of plays. I am excited to see him continue to grow in that element, but strong hands, the ability to go up and save his quarterback. He's even doing it at the highest level in the playoff semifinal. The ball kind of just teleports in. He's got a safety right on top of him, almost kind of PI, jumps on him and makes just a hell of a catch in traffic on, at the end of the day, yes, it's 2nd and 5 here, but he doesn't make this catch. It's 3rd and 5, and then you're settling instead of going for a touchdown. I mean, these little plays, they matter here. So this is where I think he will continue to excel, where you just it doesn't look like that should really be a reception. Four's got his hands all over it, and Luke's like, no, I'm going to bring that thing in secured, and we got ourselves a first down. As far as those receiving numbers that we need to kind of, find that Tyler Warren's leaving behind, well, I think that can be Luke Reynolds to fill that gap and really be that safety blanket for Drew Aller in 2025. Now, talking about one thing that has been just watching his tape, a little bit of a struggle for Luke Reynolds is the game was still a little fast for him last year. He was a freshman. There was times where his understanding, he was a bit confused. So if you watch him right here, SMU brings a blitz, and he has a number in his head. Hey, I'm taking number 2. And you can just see it's moving fast. He goes, oh, crap, am I supposed to get him? No, I'm going to leave him. And then goes on to the next guy, and then just kind of leaves him too. So that is where I need him to, and then number 2 actually ends up being one of the guys that makes the tackle. I mean, if he makes this block right here and you're on that, there's a possibility, not, kind of gets caught up. Possibility this could be a touchdown. I mean, look, everybody gets blocked up and you just got blockers out in front. So that is where Luke Reynolds can take his football IQ to the next level. And look, a big piece of this is just being comfortable. He was a freshman. I was never comfortable when I was a freshman out on the field. So having year 2, having another spring ball, another fall camp under his belt, I think we are not going to see this many stakes from Luke Reynolds. But if there was a weakness, it would just be from his freshman tape. There was times where he just looked confused and very unsure out there on the field.